A call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. As most of you know, the world elites, quote unquote, the synagogue of Satan, as I like to call them, the scum of the earth, get together every year for their annual Bilderberg meeting. This year, the meeting is taking place in Virginia, just outside of Washington, D.C., and it's a who's who amongst bankers, CEOs of corporations, Wall Street Journal, fake news publications, you name it. You know, the people that nobody out there would care or know who they were. The ones running and controlling everything. You see, the masses care about celebrities and false idols. If this meeting was being attended by Justin Bieber and Beyonce, people would be lined up around the block, but not to ask questions, to cheer, to drool over their false idols. These meetings, which are done in secret around the world every year, secret meetings where the stuff discussed, they release a list of what they talk about, what they're supposedly talking about, but there's no cameras inside, there's nothing written about what goes on inside these meetings. So why so secret? Because they're planning our demise. They're planning their future events that'll take place. You know, the ones that the masses out there think are real events that actually happen, but are false flag events created by these bankers, politicians, corporations around the world. So this year's meeting, which is taking place in Virginia, I find it pretty funny when you read the list of what's going on at this meeting and who's going to be there and the things that will supposedly be discussed. One of the things on the list that they released on their own website about what's going to be discussed is, can globalization be slowed down? With a question mark at the end. So some people will read that and they won't know what to make of it. They won't even know because they don't understand what globalism is or globalization. But that is the ultimate goal of the New World Order. Globalism, internationalism. So clearly they'll be discussing that regardless of, obviously, you know, this list that they release isn't what they really talk about. I mean, they talk about a lot more. They probably, or obviously, perform some satanic rituals inside. But they also put on the list the war on information. And as you can see, there's all these outlets, these media outlets that'll be there, like the Wall Street Journal, etc., who need to be there because they need to know what the agenda is so that they can continue pushing the real fake news. Other things they claim is talking about the Trump administration, jobs, is populism growing? This is what they release to the public to say, look, this is what we're talking about. It's not a big deal. But if this was what they were really talking about, why wouldn't they allow somebody to be inside? Why would there be a press conference? Why wouldn't this be recorded? Because if these people who are meeting together in secret aren't up to anything, then what are they afraid of? What are they hiding? The only things done in secret are bad things. And you know where the term conspiracy actually comes from? Or the definition, I should say? Conspiracy, by definition, is a secret plan by a group to do something unlawful or harmful. The action of plotting or conspiring. A secret plan. So these CEOs of corporations, these politicians, these high-ranking politicians, these banksters, these heads of Goldman Sachs, we even have CERN being involved in this meeting. CERN, yes, CERN, one of the directors over at CERN attending this meeting. You can't make this stuff up. So the people should be demanding and saying, well, if you're not up to anything that's no good, why don't you release this stuff? Why can't we see what you're talking about? But you see, the masses out there don't care. They just see a bunch of goons in suits and ties and they go, I don't even know what that is. I don't even know what Goldman Sachs is. I don't know what these foreign banks are. I don't care about that stuff. What is Beyonce doing today? Let me get on her Instagram page and see pictures of her posting herself in the mirror. Because we live in such a dumbed down society. One filled with nothing but idol worship. Look at some of the people who are attending this thing, which include, of course, the crypt keeper himself, Henry Kissinger, who, just is in his 90s, kicking, hanging in there, alive, healthy, when other people are suffering and are sick. Nobody questions how these guys live so long and are in power for so long. why this guy in his 90s going to be retired on a beach somewhere, why he's there. Oh, I'm sure, one of the things we don't see on the list that they'll be discussing is the Greater Israel Plan and destabilizing the Middle East. We don't see that on their list. Talking about bombing Syria, Afghanistan, continuing the ISIS deception, which is really about destabilizing the Middle East and expanding Israel, the Greater Israel. They hijacked Israel. That's what it's about. So you know that is what they're going to be talking about, as well as relations with Korea, because they need to establish the global banking. Why do you think there's so many banking organizations here? Banksters, I should say. Why do we have the Secretary General of NATO? Why in the world do we have Harvard University attending this? Why do we have Princeton, these Ivy League schools, attending this meeting? You see how they have to cover all their angles? They're covering education, they're covering the news and the media. They have Stanford University there, they have the CEO of Stripe, one of the founders of LinkedIn. It's a who's who of this, satanic circle. But all of these people are in positions of power, and they all have jobs to do. That's why they're there. They're not just randomly there. The guy from CERN just randomly didn't get a golden ticket in his Willy Wonka bar to go attend this thing. This is them dictating our future. This is them controlling our future, deciding what events are going to occur this year, how they're going to push this, how they're going to use mind control for that. That's why, you have the Wall Street Journal there, amongst others. That's why you have these schools there, right? What agendas can we push in school? What conflicts can we create on campuses? We see all these conflicts with free speech going on these college campuses. This is all directly ordered from above. And when they go to these meetings like the Bohemian Grove and the Bilderberg meeting every year, these are the things they discuss. What other events can we have occur? What is our main goal? Well, their main goal obviously is a new world order, right? Under Satan, who these people worship. Globalism, the expansion of Israel, destabilizing the Middle East, establishing the central banking system. So we even see, the CEO of Stripe, which is supposedly becoming the new standard in online payments, like the new PayPal, which obviously they'll be talking about more and more of electronic payment, microchipping, and those sorts of things. So you name it, these people are there. But you got to ask the question, where are the masses? Where are the people out there demanding that these people inform us, let us see what's going on in these meetings? Why would we allow world leaders, politicians, all of these people to be together in a meeting and not know what they're talking about? And that's why they release the list of the topics, because they go, listen, we're not doing anything in secret. Here's a list of the topics. And then the idiots out there just believe it. They go, oh, okay, here's a list of the topics. Sure. So if those are the topics you're talking about, let us in. Let us hear what you're talking about. Of course, this isn't a list of the topics. These are the events that they want the people out there to think they're talking about. Some of the stuff going on in the world today. Ooh, talking about the Trump administration. Trump's got most of his cabinet. He's got many of his advisors and stuff going to this thing. People out there who are still on the Trump bandwagon are going, oh, they're going to talk about ways that they can, destroy Trump and get Trump impeached at the Bilderberg meeting. Yeah, sure they are. All part of the plan. They're talking about Israel and probably what plans the Israeli Mossad has planned for this year, what human sacrifices through false flag events they have planned, what hoaxes they have planned, and what else they can do to continue to round up the sheep out there, the clueless masses, into going along with this deception. And maybe the funniest part is when you read on the Bilderberg website about what they do at these meetings. They say, well, founded in 1954, the Bilderberg meeting is an annual conference designed to foster dialogue between Europe and North America. Every year, between 120 and 140 political leaders and experts from industry, finance, academics, and the media are invited to take part in the conference. Oh my goodness. So people who control money, people who control these large corporations, people who control the lies inside the school system, specifically the Ivy League schools, which are all recruiting schools for future elites, where they get, put inside these secret societies they have on campuses like Skull and Bones and many others, and they become indoctrinated there, if they aren't already, with what the order is all about. They go on to say the conference is a forum For informal discussions about major issues facing the world, the meetings are held under the Chatham House rule, which states that participants are free to use the information received, but neither the identity nor the affiliation of the speaker nor any other participant may be revealed. So anything that ever comes out of this, is a lie. These people take an oath to one another. They're all in the brotherhood. They're all in bed with each other. So no one's coming out and giving you real information. Somebody might come out and say, oh, well, we talked about what's going on with North Korea. Ooh, they're planning what's going on. These people are controllers. It's a meeting of controllers. And I'll tell you another thing. The list that they release of the people going, there are more people going than the people on that list. Trust me. They're bringing other people in underground that they're not mentioning in these meetings. They're not arriving via car. Some of these people obviously show up in a car. We've seen David Rockefeller before. People taking pictures, yelling things at them. They know better. They're 5 steps ahead because they know people are out there protesting and they know, well, if so-and-so is going to be here, people might go more crazy. So we'll bring them in underground. We'll release this list. We'll have these people show up via car and be, the scapegoats for us, and they can look and they can get yelled at. People like but nobody's going to know who half these people are except for Kissinger for the most part, or the guy from NATO. No one's going to know and be like, oh, that's so-and-so, unless they're very, very smart and educated and are aware of who these people are, which there are people out there who are attending this who are aware of who a lot of these people are. But that's the thing, the masses out there aren't going to care. Now, if they knew if, say, Hillary was going, or Obama, or Trump himself, if the masses knew that, then they'd be like, well, what's really going on there? But the media has obviously kept a lot of these people's names out of the, they're not big, famous names, so the people don't care, despite the power that these people wield. So again, I wanted to just do a video talking about the Bilderberg meeting, talking about the lies that they claim they're going to be talking about, when in reality they're really just setting up plans for the future. That's what these big meetings they have are about. What events are going to occur this year? What dates do they have planned for these events? Who's got to do what job? What do they need to do at these schools as far as protests they need to plan, and what lies they need to continue to spew, and what direction academically do they need to keep lying to people and pushing them? What way can the media be involved to push the agenda? And then, of course, you have the banksters, and you have, major industries like Stripe's involvement and CERN's involvement. It's a joke. It's a complete joke. And if you're someone who's new to the channel, or you're young and you're not familiar with it, get familiar with it, because these groups contain all of these elites and controllers, and there's obviously many more, but there's also many more who come here in secret that people don't know about. They release lies of lists of what the topics are about so that people get off their back. And they go, oh, okay, look, here's the list of what they're doing and what they're talking about. Oh, no, they couldn't be lying. They couldn't be making it up because they want to get people off the trail of what they're really talking about. And there's no way they could be performing satanic rituals inside. Of course they are. There's probably a druid cloak sitting on every chair in there. These people are walking in suits, removing the suits, and putting their cloaks on. We can only pray that there's no children inside the building. It's disgusting. It's disgraceful. And again, this is in Virginia, where they have Mount Weather, they have all of this, all of these underground tunnels and underground cities that they've created right outside of Washington. They traffic kids in and out of here. They do so much just disgusting stuff in secret. It's amazing to me that the American people allow our government, allow these meetings to occur in secret, and they don't care. But this is how, these little things that they do by releasing stuff like this, the names of the people who are going and all that, people go, well, it's not really a big secret because I don't want to sit through the meeting anyway. Who cares what they're talking? Who cares what they have to say? Right? Until they realize that they're talking about how many more chemtrails a day they can get up in the sky to dump on us and get us sicker and sicker, how many more chemicals they can put in our food, how to increase the fluoride in the water, all of this stuff. This is the stuff they talk about, including these false flag events that they create for their Hegelian dialectic, which is problem, reaction, solution. They give us the solution. This is the stuff they do. This is all mind control. So again, this is the Bilderberg meeting in Virginia today. If anything else comes out, I'm sure some of it will be fake, so be forewarned. People who go to the meeting and come out and say, well, this is what we talked about, don't buy it. These people have a sworn oath to one another, okay? They aren't going to come out and tell you anything that's really being discussed. They'll come out and say, yeah, we're talking about China and nuclear proliferation and current events. And people go, oh, okay, what are we going to eat? I'm going to play Pokemon. They're really talking about our futures, folks. and the events that they're creating, because they're the ones creating all of this stuff. They're the ones who are controlling these events, and it's all to bring in a new world order under their master, Satan. I thank you for listening to today's show. God bless all of you and your families.